Construction purchase orders streamlined with Planyard. Let's see how Planyard makes raising the purchase order and managing the final invoice cycle easy. All your project stakeholders have a straightforward workflow for raising the orders and tracking the commitments and payment summaries. We will also see how Planyard automatically updates the budget and processes the invoices for accounting. We will not discuss the multi-currency purchase orders in this video. To create a purchase order, you go to Purchase Orders. Click Create Purchase Order, and the email-like purchase order interface opens. You add the purchase order name. Planyard automatically creates the purchase order number. Then, you add the description, similar to one sent via email. Then you add the delivery date. Then, we select the vendor and the contact person to whom we send the purchase order. We select the items straight from our budget for the order. If I hit Select in bulk, I can see my budget structure. Under the Committed Costs column, I see which items have been ordered and which still need to be added. I can drill down to all the lines. Let's say I will order everything linked to my planning and design services, which is the first phase or cost head of my project. I hit the Update section. So this is my bill of quantities or list of materials. However you call it, with my estimated units, quantities, and unit rates. I can additionally create a more thorough breakdown if I have a generic item in my budget by clicking the blue icon at the end of the budget item name. So, there wouldn't be a new line in the budget for the additional breakdown, but there's a whole breakdown in the purchase order. I can also add comments to my purchase order by clicking the gray plus sign. Say I want this item to be red and fluffy. The cost of some items I plan to order exceeds the estimated costs. In conclusion, it's a simple purchase order creating process just as via email. Now, if I hit Submit, I have raised my order, and with the next click, I can send it to the vendor. The order is automatically registered in my purchase orders list, and Planyard updates the budget to see the ordered value for these items easily. The subcontractors receive a simple email. It goes from the project manager's name and the project manager's email address once I set up Planyard email white labeling. The purchase order name as a subject, your logo, the description, and there's a professional, clean-looking purchase order PDF file attached to it with the items you ordered. Let's say we received a prepayment invoice from the vendor under the Files tab. When we open the invoice, we see the invoice on the browser screen. We select the vendor. We select this as a prepayment invoice, which we can only do if we have raised a purchase order for the vendor. We enter the prepayment amount, say $1,000. If I hit Submit, the prepayment invoice is processed. If we have set up integration with the accounting system, a bill draft is ready for accountants to process, saving valuable time from data entry. Let's now say that we received the invoice from our vendor when the first phase of the work was completed. Again, one click to open the invoice. If the invoice has the purchase order number as a reference, Planyard automatically links the invoice with the purchase order. Thus, your accountant or secretary will have fewer invoices to sort. But we can also manually select the vendor, which will be an invoice for a purchase order. So this is my order. This is what we ordered. This is my prepayment amount so I can settle the prepayment. Say we want to settle $1,000. This invoice is for our first delivery of $1,000 for environmental assessment and another $1,000 for project management fees. Now, I can also simultaneously add a change order or variation here. When I do that, it will automatically be added to the purchase order and show up under the Committed Costs tab under the budget. It helps us stay on top of the change orders. Here, I see my purchase order payment summary and how much remains. Again, I don't need to have a separate spreadsheet where I can track the payment summaries. They are visible here as we process the invoice, and nobody can overbill us. I can see the total amount of the invoice here. I can see the prepayment and how much needs to be invoiced. If I hit Submit again, Planyard will process a bill draft for the accounting system. The invoice is stored under the Cost tab, and I see the invoice is linked to my purchase order. So whenever I go to my purchase order, I can see my purchase order's real-time performance and payment summary, as well as my variations and prepayments. So, for my budget, there's the committed cost, which is the value of the orders raised. This is the amount remaining. We could go to the purchase order and click Close Order, and the system will only show us the actual paid amount in the budget committed costs. In conclusion, Planyard makes processing the purchase orders and final invoices easy for the whole team.